Calling Human Resource Committee meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Island? Hardinger?
Here.
Hackworth is excused. Jerks Luby?
Here.
Egg?
Here.
Arch is excused and my no did not indicate.
Approval.
My now sent me a message that he had something come up with family, he wasn't going to be able to make it today.
Okay.
Approval of Human Resource Committee meeting minutes of September 5th, 2023.
I wasn't at that meeting, so I'm not comfortable.
Jasper, can you make a motion to approve minutes?
I'll make that motion to approve.
I'll second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Yes. Number 5, public comments. All right, number 6, approval of wage and compensation study from public admin associates for directors, deputy directors, and superintendents.
At the last meeting, we had the draft report from PAA for the, I guess, primarily the salaried positions that were studied with our peer communities. So the full report is in the packet. I guess not sure if anybody has any specific questions on it. The staff recommendation is to approve as submitted by PAA. Went through the, I guess, the job descriptions, the classifications, kind of the roles, responsibilities. They looked at the external and internal kind of market points. It seemed like it was pretty thorough and well done. Not sure. Really no reason why we wouldn't accept their study.
Yeah. Can I maybe?
Yep, go for it.
Okay, so I completely agree with the methodology that they followed. I think their methodology makes sense and is the best practice from my experience. The only question I had that I didn't see in the packet and maybe I missed it is what I didn't understand is how does it compare to our current? I didn't see our current pay scale and what we're talking about from a differentiation standpoint. That's it's what's the fiscal impact? I didn't see that in here. Maybe I missed it.
So the fiscal impact is really more of a finance area. I mean, I know it all works together, but when we're talking about monies, that's where the board and the finance committee really focus on that. I mean, just because there's a pay plan out there doesn't mean that means that's what the board is going to be paying, and it means that that's where we should be. And if the board is gonna be holding us more to the mid to what we can afford, I think that really is more of the board and finance. And I think the study itself is not necessarily the actual what we're paying people.
I guess
I'd still like to see the current compared to
what's on
the proposed as.
What's on the screen is so the red number is what is the current midpoint.
Okay.
So like for the administrative position,
It's 55 and now it's 56.19.
It's 61.18.
Oh.
So
Okay.
on that page that you're on there, Robin.
Yeah, I see it.
Middle.
There we go. Oh, okay, and then they're recommending a comp ratio of 91.84. Okay.
Oh, no, that's the current wage of, so I'll go back to that one since that's
Okay,
what you're looking at.
let's make sure everybody understands what we're approving.
Yeah. So you're looking at Exhibit A.
Mhm.
So Exhibit A has, I guess, the current 2023 rate of employees in these positions.
Okay.
And then what their ratio is of the PAA market point.
Okay, okay, good. So the 2023 rate is their employees' current rate of pay.
Correct.
And then this would be current comp ratio compared to the new proposed.
Correct.
Got it. Okay, good.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, there we go. Which you have highlighted. Okay, that helps me significantly. I wasn't sure what those columns meant.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we like take a minute and just look?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're really not terribly far off.
Yeah, I guess similar, the pay grades for these positions had not been adjusted since, is it 2022? It's a 1.85% adjustment of the 2021 matrix. Or it might not even have been adjusted since 2021.
Okay,
So this past spring, we adjusted the pay grades below for the hourly staff.
yeah.
And we were waiting on this study
Yeah.
to make any adjustments for the salaried staff.
Okay. I mean, overall, again, all of the positions are in range. In the new range, the new proposed range.
All but one, yeah. The utility superintendent is below the minimum.
Oh, yeah, it is 84%. You're right. Thanks. Okay. I don't know if anybody has any comments, but
So if I may,
Yep, go ahead, Jasper.
if I understand Jessica right, if we approve the study, that doesn't commit us as the HR committee to any sort of pay changes for the hourly rate. That would be up to the finance committee and the board.
Yes.
Okay. So does anybody see any problems with the study itself that we would want more information on before we pass it on?
I'm very comfortable with what is presented here.
Me too. I'm good.
Anybody want to make a motion then?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
First by Haig, second by Hardinger. Motions. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion's been approved.
Aye.
Aye.
Number 7, discussion and or action on job description for accounts payable, payroll, and human resource specialists and director of GIS and technology as recommended by Public Administration Associates.
So these were two of the job descriptions when PAA went through our current job descriptions. These two positions were, I guess, kind of flagged as people performing roles or duties outside of just what their current job description described for them. I guess in the accounts payable, payroll, human resource specialist role, that was kind of really a hybrid. So I know Jessica had found a few kind of sample job descriptions, and then we worked through Renee's actual duties, or that role's duties, and how that was different, or kind of a new role within the organization. And then similarly, our director of technology, that role started out as the director of GIS, actually, and then over time evolved into taking on more and more of the technology roles as we found ways to utilize the individual's talents and no longer have to contract for services. So kind of thought the title of technology director is misleading, as it missed out a good chunk of what that person does for the organization. So PA went through those job descriptions. They're included in the packet. I believe they adequately describe the roles and responsibilities of those positions. We're just looking for, I guess,
What does GIS stand for again? Oh, here we go, Geographic Information System Management.
yeah, so it's our
I've never heard of that before.
It's mapping.
it's our
all
mapping
maps.
system for primarily our utilities.
Oh, okay,
So we have all of our utility maps or where our water, sewer,
okay,
storm sewer. And,
Loading maps.
yeah,
okay,
Not paper.
okay.
yeah, it's all
Digital.
digital.
Digital maps?
There's
or-
smart maps too. There's
Okay.
information behind the lines.
Okay.
I think a few meetings ago or earlier this summer, we talked about how our utility staff was smaller than many other communities.
Mhm.
One of the reasons we've been able to do that is because of I think our robust GIS system. You know, all the utility guys have the maps at their fingertips. We're able to record data, share data instantly. So that has really helped cut down on our, I guess, wasted time, made things much more productive.
Okay. So you're just looking.
Just to approve the
approve
job
Actual
description.
job description?
Yeah.
Mm,
We thought they looked good, but we just
We don't
formally,
know enough about the
yeah.
day-to-day workings of the role, so.
Yeah.
You say it's okay.
Yeah, I guess for,
as per the employee handbook, the HR committee is supposed to
is
approve
it okay?
handbooks,
Oh,
yes.
I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, we're not necessarily looking, I guess, for you to say is that really need the MS Word responsibility.
Oh,
or
yeah,
something
yeah,
like that.
okay. I guess I'm not seeing anything glaring, jumping out at me that I'm concerned with, so.
And I'm comfortable with this.
I will motion to approve.
Motion
I'll
to
second.
second. Motion's been passed. All in favor, say aye.
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 Let's see. Number 8, recommended adoption of changes to 2023 pay grid pay plan as presented in the compensation report from public administration associates for directors, deputy directors, and superintendents.
This pay grade is just updating the wages from the most recent study. I believe the ones that were already on there were not necessarily approved, but they were acknowledged before as being accurate. So now we're just looking for recommendation to the board for the 2023 pay grade.
What we're taking is the PA recommended min, market, max, and placing it within our matrix here.
Okay. So first we approve the
The study. Yep.
and now we're actually approving the new salary range.
Correct.
Okay.
Is there anybody below the minimum?
Our utility superintendent is below minimum.
By how much?
About $2. Yeah, about $2.
That's something we'll be bringing at a different time to get everyone up to either minimum or midpoint.
But we're not making any recommendations to change the pay
No, you're
structure,
just
just
gonna-
adopt it.
And the pay plan so we can follow it and post it.
And then future meeting would have the any recommended pay changes. I guess there are some.
All right, I'll make that motion. Unless anybody sees anything irregular about that.
Second.
First by Herninger, second by Hague. All in favor, say aye.
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 Number 9, recommend adoption of 2024 village pay grid pay plan as presented by interim administrators.
Is that what we just did?
So that was so we had the 2023 pay grid. That was the last one. So this one is the 2024. Because we talked about last meeting. The objective is to make sure we don't fall behind like we did in previous years. I guess Jessica can talk about how this one was adjusted.
So a lot of times we look at CPI and we looked at it in August and it was around 4. Just last week, the state came out and when we are able to increase our expenditures, the state has a CPI adjustment that we're allowed to go up to qualify for a program. That's called the expenditure restraint. And that's the CPI for this month was 5.4%. So when we're looking at wage increases, it's reasonable not to go over that. So I think 4 is pretty close to that. I think it's reasonable. Again, this is not approving wage increases for 4% for everyone. This is making sure the matrix is moving forward so we don't get behind again. Obviously, we're looking at reviews and pay for performance and making sure that when people do go up, it's after the review process. So we're just looking for recommend adoption of the pay grid for 2024.
So the pay range has moved 4%.
Yes, that's what we did.
That was one other thing too in the PA study. It mentioned how that was 2022, 2023 data. So as we're doing that, we want to make sure we're not falling behind right away.
How often does this fluctuate though? Because I think CPI fluctuates quite a bit, and it seems to me, and I don't know when this is normally adjusted, but it seems still a little early for making 2024 predictions. CPI took quite a bit when we were looking at doing ours at our institution. I mean, it all depends on a lot of factors, but is this usually the time of year that you do make these adjustments based on point in time, or do you wait closer to January?
We usually look at, because our budget's adopted rather soon, we usually look at looking at changing we look at CPI this time of year because that's when we look at the budget numbers.
Okay, makes sense.
Do you always use CPA or do you use any other data?
We usually look at CPI. There was something going forward, we could be doing more calling around and stuff, but what we want to do right now is making sure, because we just called around, we just did all that, we want to make sure without additional work for next year, why don't we move it forward and then maybe in 2025 we call again and making sure we're where other people are. So I think it's a good habit to go with CPI every other year, or every couple of years, and then call around just to make sure we're in the market.
Yeah, and then Jessica brought up the state restricts us to a certain extent, so if we know the state's number is a little over 5%. I guess that's generally where we know we're not
Exceeding
overextending
that.
ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have a motion to recommend adoption of the pay grid pay plan for 2024 as presented?
I guess my only concern by adopting it is whether or not that's going to put us in a position to make adjustments.
Well, at this point, so one of the reasons why we used 4 is because I went to the board, I went to finance, I think I even went to this committee. And I got a good thumbs up for 4%, so that's what I've been using in the budget. And so that's why I guess why we're bringing 4% to you. This is just a pay grade move, it's not an approval. If in the next month this stuff really tanks and we feel the need to raise or not raise so much, as again, this is not approving wage increases, this is just approving the pay grid. So I think it's a good start. We don't know what's gonna happen the next couple months, but it'd be nice to know where we could go. And if we need to change it, we can. It's not fixed in stone. And again, it doesn't approve wage increases. This just approves the matrix moving forward.
Yeah, Jasper, I'm kind of with you as well that, I guess as long as it's not set in stone, but we, you know, when we move our pay ranges every year in the private sector. We typically only move by about 2.5 or 3%. I haven't seen them move. So 4% is just making me just a little nervous. Because I don't know what that's going to do for people who are lower in the range. How do we make sure that they're continuously moving to midpoint of the range is my only concern. It gets difficult to get them caught up. So that's my only hesitation right now.
The board approved I guess a compensation budget of 4% plus 1 then for
Okay.
merit or
Okay.
stepping through.
Okay.
For those people that aren't at midpoint yet.
Okay. Okay, well, that makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah, so we have,
All right,
I guess more or less 5% in the budget, but 4 would be kind of.
Okay.
And again, that's my concern as well. It seems a little bit above what we have, and especially if the private sector is only doing 2.5. I'm worried that it's a little premature, and I'm worried that it's going to put us in a position where we have to make adjustments, regardless of what we have the budget for.
And I'm in the public sector, and that's more than we usually do too. Even though we can go up to it, we usually kind of are a little bit more. So I don't know, it seems a little bit too, I don't know. Things fluctuated a lot last year, so.
And I also just know, looking at, again, just the economy and again, private sector where we're sitting, I mean, we know things are starting to soften a little bit, so I don't know if a more conservative approach needs to be taken to this for this year or food for thought.
I agree. I mean, I would like to see a more conservative number.
Yeah, I don't know that I feel comfortable moving forward and adopting something like this right now without a little bit more time. But I get the budget situation too, so.
Well, what's happened in the past is we budgeted less and we got approved for more. So I'm ready to budget for a little bit more and approve less. I think that would be ideal for me because we've been just running behind for the last couple of years.
Yeah, but that's kind of hard when you have people watching that and they're expecting to see something. And then, I don't know. I would never budget, like I would never approve more and budget less. I would approve less and budget more.
So like I said, this was the board recommendation. If we want to bring something with a lesser percent to the board, that is definitely up to this committee. So
I would suggest that you pick whatever number you're comfortable with, and ultimately the board has the say. So if you want 3%, I would recommend to them 3% so that they can continue on, if that's the holdup on it.
So maybe recommend an in-between, like.
Well, and they look to us to kind of see what else is going on in the area. And for me, what I'm seeing, I don't think we would even be planning for that high of an increase. And we're in the public sector.
well, I know the police are getting sick, so I guess that's also where our village board might be looking that we know
Yeah.
that there is an area that is getting 6%. So
Yep, that's up to the board, but for an HR committee, from what we're seeing and what we feel, it might be very different from what the board, but I feel more comfortable saying 3.
I would too, I'd be comfortable at 3.
I'd agree with that. I mean, the board does rely on this committee based on the private sector and the experiences of the people on the committee to make those recommendations. So I would be okay with 3.
Motion.
Yeah.
A motion to adopt,
Amend,
yeah, recommend, I guess, recommendation. That's
a
3%.
motion to recommend 3%
Adoption.
Change in
At
the
3%.
2024 matrix.
Yeah, what you just said. Whatever Jennifer just said.
Yeah. Or pay grid or pay plan or whatever it's called.
I understand that puts you in a little bit of a position with the budget, Jessica, but I would much rather.
well,
Have a
right
low
now, we got a
percentage.
meeting, we'll just bring it back to the board, and if they want me to adjust the budget, we can do that. So it's
Okay,
pretty
thank
easy.
you.
Yep.
I didn't hear a second.
So we have a motion by Hague. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
By Hardinger. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And
Carrie, all right, so remarks from committee members? Remarks from chair? Jasper?
No, we'll just need to set up the next meeting date.
Future items? Next meeting date, November 6th, 2023. We have a motion to adjourn the human resource meeting.
So moved.
HR meeting is now.
I
adjourned.
didn't hear a
Oh,
second.
do we have a
You
second?
technically don't for an adjournment, you just need to move to adjourn.
Meeting's been adjourned.
So